Hey guys, today's topic of the video is going to be about one of the most important poem, which is a most important and famous dramatic monologue written by Robert Browning. But before starting, I will suggest you to subscribe to my channel so that you can get all my literature related videos. Also, the links of other famous poems are given in the description below. You can also watch these videos by clicking these links. So starting with the introduction of My Last Duchess, written by Robert Browning. This poem is written by a very famous English poet, Robert Browning. This poem is very important for its form of dramatic monologue. I have also made a video on dramatic monologue. You can also watch it in the card in the pin above, or the link given in the description below. It was published in his dramatic lyrics in 1842. The poem is written in heroic couplets and is composed of one large stanza of 56 lines. I will also make a video on heroic couplets, so make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Summary and main idea. Moving towards summary and main idea of this poem, the Duke meets a visitor and shows him the painting of his late wife, who used to attract every stranger, and that was the reason the Duke killed her, and now he is going to marry another woman. Moving towards the poem text, it is such a long poem with no stanzas. This poem as a whole is a stanza with 56 lines. Moving towards the analysis of this poem, but before starting the analysis, I will throw some indication about its background. The Duke's first wife is dead or murdered by him, and he is going to marry another woman who is the Count's daughter. The Duke meets the messenger or the visitor of the Count, whose daughter is going to marry. He is going to marry, and the Duke takes this messenger upstairs and shows him the painting of his late wife. The monologue takes place in the city of Italy, Ferrara. Moving towards the actual analysis of this poem, line 1 to 13. That's my last duchess, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder now. Fra Pandolf's hands work busily a day, and there she stands. Will you please sit and look at her? I said, Fra Pandolf by design, for never read strangers like you that picture's countenance, the depth and patience of its earnest glance. But to myself they turned, since none puts by. The curtains have drawn for you, but I, and seemed as they would ask me, if they just, how such a glance can there? So not the first. Are you to turn and ask us? Explanation of line 1 to 13. The Duke of Ferrara introduces the painting on the wall, which is of his late wife. Her painting is looking as she is alive. This is personification. This is a very wonderful art, and he thinks how hard Fra Pandolf is the painter of this art. Fra Pandolf has worked on it. The Duke asks the listener or the visitor to sit and look at this painting carefully. The Duke says that he has ordered Fra Pandolf to paint the Duchess' face because strangers questioning the passionate emotions of the face of the Duchess are captured by Fra Pandolf in this painting, and perhaps the visitor is not the only person who has this question. The Duke is the only one who can uncover the painting of the Duchess. That's my last Duchess, painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. There is a use of simile as the poet compares the dead Duchess to a living person. The depth, passion of its earnest glance, its personification. Moving towards line 13 to 24, Sir, 'twas not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy that into the Duchess' cheek. Perhaps Fra Pandolf chanced to say, her mantle depth over my lady's waist too much, or paint must never hope to reproduce that faith, half flesh that dies along her throat. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and saw enough, and cause enough. For calling up that spot of joy, she had a heart, how shall I say, now soon made glad. Too easily impressed, she lacked whatever. She looked on, and her looks went everywhere. Explanation: the Duke continues that this was not his presence, this was not his husband's presence who brought joy to the face of the Duchess. The presence of his husband was not the reason behind her blush, behind her smile, behind her redness and and blooming of the face. Perhaps Fra Pandolf could have asked her that she should show her beautiful wrist, or should she blush, or such kind of compliments used to rejoice her. Her heart used to please everyone. She was very sensitive, and small remorse used to impress her, and she used to fall in love so instantly with whom and where she saw. Line number 25 to 35. Sir, that's all not, all one. My favor at her breast, the dropping of the daylight in the west, the bow of cherries some officious fool broke in the orchard for her, the white mule she rode with around the terrace. All and each would draw some her like the approving speech, or blush at least. She thanked man, good, but thanked somehow, I know not how, as if she ranked my gift of 900 years old name with anybody's gift. Who would stoop to blame this sort of trifling? Explanation: everyone was equal to her. Her gift, which is on her breast, is given by the Duke to her, was as joyful to her as the dropping of the sun in the west. Like the poet is comparing two things, like the dropping of the sun in the west is a normal thing, and he's comparing his gift to the dropping of the sun, like the dropping of the sun and his gift were two normal thing for the Duchess. Every tight thigh everyone used to make her pleased, whether it was bow of cherries or riding a white mule on the terrace. She used to thank every man, and it was good, but she used to correspond ordinary gift given by every man to the social position she was enjoying as the wife of the Duke. And who would like to correct her behavior? The poet has given her the name of his family, and she had taken it for granted. And the poet and the Duke is feeling betrayed or jealous. Line 35 to 48. Even had you skill in speech, which I have not, to make your will quite clear to such and once and say just this or that and you disgust me, here you miss or there exceed the mark, and if she let herself to lesson on, nor plainly set her wits to yours, forsooth or made excuse, even then would be some stooping, or I choose never to stoop. Oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whenever I passed her. But who passed without? Much the same smile. This grew, I give command. When our smiles stop together, there she stands as if alive. Explanation. The poet addresses the visitor and asks him if he had art to refrain her from that behavior because he himself cannot do so as he is not good with words. The poet says that he won't stoop in front of her, even though he had the craft of convincing, because asking her to straighten her behavior, to erect her behavior, to normalize her behavior would be like bending to her, and he would avoid it. He doesn't want to correct her. He does not want to correct her. It's like bending or stooping to her. Perhaps she would have corrected herself, but again asking that was stooping to her, and he didn't like it. No doubt his wife used to smile whenever he passed by her, but he was not the only one. Rather, she was habitual of smiling at every man, and her such attitude and her such behavior was growing, and at last he ordered to kill his wife. Now her painting is standing here as if she is alive. It gives the signal that the Duke was a psychopath, and he was a self-centered man who cannot see his wife easily attracted towards other people. Last stanza, last part, line 48 to 56. Will it please you rise, sir? We will meet the company below. Then I repeat, the count you master now munificence. Example warrant that no just pretense of mine for dowry will be disallowed. Though this fair daughter's self, as I vowed at starting, is my object. Nay, we will go towards down, sir. Notice Neptune, though taming a seahorse, though a rarity, which glass and of Innsbruck cast in bronze for me. Explanation. The Duke invites the visitor to stand up to meet the guests downstairs. The Duke asks the visitor to rise up and accompany him to meet the Count, who is famous for his generosity. The Duke will ask the Count for a large dowry, but he is not interested in it because he only wants the honesty of the daughter of the Count and nothing else. The Duke and the visitor go downstairs, and the Duke show him Neptune, which is holding seahorse, and it is sculpture, and the sculpture is very rare, and it was made by Claes of Innsbruck from bronze, especially for him, especially for the Duke. Moving towards the major themes of this poem, of this dramatic monologue: social status, art and painting, marital relationship, power and control, possessive nature, murder and a sophisticated murderer, jealousy and hatred, arrogance and the tone of arrogance. Literary style and devices of this poem. The poem is written in dramatic monologue in which the poet, not rather a character, is describing uh, his inner thoughts and feelings to a silent listener. The words used by the narrator depicts his possessive nature and his feelings. The poem um, is not divided into several stanzas. Rather, it is written into a long stanza of 56 lines. Rhyme scheme of this poem is of heroic couplets. In the 54th line, allusion is used when the poet says, "To gather down and notice Neptune, though taming a seahorse, though a rarity." Alliteration is of S sound when the poet says, "Then all the smiles stop together, there she stands." Alliteration of D sound when the poet says, "The dropping of the daylight in the west." Symbolism and important symbols in this poem are taming a seahorse, which symbolizes the possessive nature of the Duke as he wanted to tame his wife or wives. Title of the poem is ironic because his previous wife was not his last wife. Rather, he is going to marry again. Looking as if she were alive is the use of simile. She looked on and her looks went everywhere shows the use of hyperbole, which is the exaggeration or exaggeration of something. Dramatic irony is when the reader reads the poem and knows how much the Duke is arrogant of his position, gender, and status. Important allusion in this poem: at Duke's house, there is a bronze made statue of Neptune and it is taming a seahorse. Neptune is a Roman god of fresh water and it is controlling seahorse. In the poem suggests that the Duke's authoritative nature and this nature of being possessive about his wife. And this was the reason he killed his first wife. Thanks for watching. I hope you will like or dislike this video. Also comment in the comment box of further inquiry and also subscribe to my channel and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The link is given in the description. Thanks for watching.